On the 6th of July 1967, Nigerian artillery shells began to rain down on the town of Ogoja, 10 miles from the border with the north. The Nigerian Military High Command launched an open assault on the breakaway region of Biafra in what was initially described as a police action. To make matters worse, in the months following the coup, a series of pogroms arose in the northern region that led to the deaths of over 30,000 Easterners, particularly of the Igbo ethnicity. Soon, many of the surviving Easterners began to return to the east with horrific tales of what they had witnessed in the north.
This video, I want you to settle down. If I have a video at the Russia watch it. This is about the history of the Biafran people, the history of the civil war that happened, that claimed the life of 80 million Biafrans. If I have the history, at the beginning of Biafra, I declared the state of Biafra. The war, if it caused the war, the people involved in it and the existence of the Biafran people. Just settle down and watch this video from beginning to the end. I'm going to this video into 3 parts or 4 parts because the video is too long. If I have a part 1 of it, episode 1, I'm going to see this one. Tomorrow by this same time, I'm going to drop the episode 2 of this video so that you will understand the story line by line. Because settle down and watch this video to the end. Can you put the reason why it's Aburi a Biafran and why you are referred to as a Biafran man? Settle down and watch the video. If you see this episode, you drop one more opinion in the comment section. And please make sure you are sharing this video so that others will also see this video. Watch the video, guys. I will be right back.
After Nigeria's second military coup of July 1966, we saw the deaths of his first military president and that of over 200 officers from the eastern region. The future of the country after 6 years of independence was anything but promising. To make matters worse, in the months following the coup, a series of pogroms arose in the northern region that led to the deaths of over 30,000 Easterners, particularly of the Igbo ethnicity. Soon, many of the surviving Easterners began to return to the east with horrific tales of what they had witnessed in the north. Exactly how many refugees poured into the eastern region between mid-September and 31st of December 1966 will never be precisely known. Many have estimated it to be between 1 and 2 million people from the north and half of that from the other 2 regions. The new military ruler, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, made several promises to put a stop to the killings in the north, but even after delivering a series of broadcasts intended to put an end to the killings, it continued. Gowon also made plans for all military governors in Nigeria under the framework of the Supreme Military Council to meet and sort out ways of distilling the crisis in the country. But Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu, the military governor of the eastern region, who refused to recognize Gowon's leadership, refused to attend any meeting within Nigeria for safety reasons. Finally, on the 4th and 5th of January 1967, General Akran of Ghana agreed to host the officers on his territory at Aburi. A lot was discussed and agreed upon during the meeting at Aburi, but the fulcrum of the agreement was that each region would be responsible for its affairs and that the federal military government would only be responsible for matters that affected the entire country. At the end of the meeting, Ojukwu and Gowon shook hands and promised to abide by what they had agreed. But on the 26th of January 1967, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon gave a press conference rejecting the main points agreed upon at Aburi. Ojukwu immediately responded by issuing an edict that all federal revenues collected in the east, excluding oil, would thereafter be diverted internally to deal with the problems of the displaced people in the eastern region. The mere mention of oil revenues sent shivers down the collective spine of the Supreme Military Council. You see, most of Nigeria's oil is located in the minority non-Igbo region of the east. Gowon responded almost immediately by issuing Decree No. 8, which gave him absolute power over the affairs of any regional government in the country. Ojukwu promptly rejects this decree and began plans for the secession of the eastern region from the Republic of Nigeria. To prevent the east from seceding, Gowon divided the 4 regions of the country into 12 states. He cleverly divided the eastern region into 3 states, separating the core Igbo territory from the minority regions where most of the oil in the country was located. In early May, Gowon imposed a blockade in the eastern region, and this was the final straw. On the 30th of May 1967, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu declared the independence of the eastern region and he renamed it the Independent Republic of Biafra. In the months that followed, a sense of calm before the storm descended on the new nation. The population of Biafra held its breath in anticipation.
Do you think that it will be necessary to use military force to bring down Colonel Ojukwu regime?
Yes, it is necessary. I think I have made this point before that if the integrity, corporate existence of this country is threatened, I will use force to maintain it.
If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right. It will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, that the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
On the 6th of July 1967, Nigerian artillery shells began to rain down on the town of Ogoja, 10 miles from the border with the north. The Nigerian Military High Command launched an open assault on the breakaway region of Biafra in what was initially described as a police action.
Okay, everybody on your feet up! Let's go! The mortar, come on! Come on, baby!
The 1st Division of the Federal Army, commanded by Colonel Mohammed Shoa, the former commanding officer of the 5th Battalion in Kano, led a series of attacks on the Biafran northern border towns of Obudu, Ogoja, Garkem, and Nsukka. This assault was codenamed Operation Unicorn. The strategy was to facilitate a quick capture of Enugu, the Biafran capital, which they confidently predicted would be achieved in a matter of weeks, if not days, thereby bringing an end to the action. The division consisted of 2 brigades comprising 3 battalions each. The 1st Brigade, commanded by Major Sule Apollo, the man who led the first assault on Biafra, was tasked with the capture of the towns of Ogugu and Nsukka, the latter being an important commercial center in Biafra. From there, the detached elements will be earmarked to push south and probe the perimeter defense of Enugu about 35 miles further south.
It seemed clear that their attitude was originally to make a massive assault on the Nsukka area, the Ogoja area, so as to tie up all our troops, and then to make an armored thrust through Nsukka direct to their number 1 objective, Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu in Enugu. If you didn't know it, that's me.
The 2nd Brigade, commanded by Major Martin Adamu, was tasked with bearing down on Enugu from the east, capturing the towns of Ogoja, Obudu, and Garkem in the process. The offensive was premised on a fairly simple plan that relied heavily on communication and coordination, and was based primarily on the expectation of minimal defense from the Biafran army. Indeed, the initial Biafran response to the offensive was minimal, as its elements were poorly assembled and commanded. At the outset of the war, the Biafran army had a strength of between 5,000 and 7,000 men, with only a tiny minority armed with modern weapons. Although several officers had joined the Biafran army from the Federal Army, there were only a few of them in comparison with their Nigerian counterparts. Ojukwu took it upon himself to release all officers who took part in the first military coup from prisons stationed in the eastern region. This included Major Skanduna Nzegu, Emmanuel Efejuna, Timothy Onwatuegu, Humphrey Chukwuka, and Lieutenant Colonel Victor Banjo, who was also imprisoned by Agui Ronsi because of an assassination attempt.